Hello, hi. Let me write what I am doing here today. For those who will ask, what's today about? How you guys doing though? Hi, hey guys, hi. Hi, nice to see you all. Yes. Um, Hi, welcome, welcome. Hi. Okay, I'm gonna pin this so everyone sees. Hello, Halima. Hi, darling. Thank you. How you guys doing? Nice to see you. Hi. Today I'm gonna have a conversation with someone who I respect so much. Um, he is the son of the Edo Kingdom, and he is one person that I admire, I respect. I've worked with him. I've known him for almost 30 years of my life. But in view of what's been happening around, Joseph Benjamin, hey JB, oh no. So in view of what's been going on with Britain, with the Edo Kingdom, with the Bronze, with return it or don't return it, I decided to speak to someone who is a custodian, someone who has the history locked down, someone who can explain to us exactly what's going on, why it happened in the first place, everything. I'm going to ask him a lot of questions, and then he'll be able to give us an insight, to what's happening. Because I posted a video, and then the comments were flying left, right, and center. People saying different things, people supporting different things, and it was crazy. Hi from Germany, from Kenya. Hi, how are you? How you guys doing? How you guys doing? Good, good, good. Good. So I can't wait for my guests to join me so that we can kick off. But I just want to say thank you for taking out your Saturday and your weekend to join me here, because I know that everybody has things to do. Today is a day for weddings and parties and events and stuff like that. I do not take it for granted. Hi, Linda Okonkwo, how are you? Good, good, good. Let me see if I can. Hi from the UK. Let's see. I am trying to see. Wait. I see him. I see him. Hold on. I see him. I'm gonna go back. View request. Did I? Oh boy. Okay. He is here. Hey, Donkey. Gonna go
How
back.
you doing? Let me. How are you? Who's
I'm
Stella?
very well, thank you. Thanks for joining us. Before we
Yeah.
start, let me brag. Let me talk about you. Let them know who you are and why I'm interviewing you. This man right here is Dr. Pedro Obas. Okay. He's Hey, he's a playwright,
How you doing?
filmmaker,
Let me.
broadcaster,
How are you? Who's
I'm
Stella?
very well, former thank managing you. Thanks for director of joining Dark us. Communications
Yeah.
PLC. Um, they are the owners of AIT, Africa Independent Television, a former court historian to the late Oba Erediawa. He contested in the 2016 governorship Edo State elections, and presently president of Midwest People's Movement, the Edo Delta Indigenous Peoples Association. And at the age of 21, can you guys hear me clearly? At the age of 21, when some of us did not know what we're doing with our lives, this man right here became a lecturer at the University of Benin and has taught in various universities in Denmark, UK, and the US. That's the formal one. All the formal accolades. This man is one of the people who put me on stage, took me on a tour for his play. And the first time I got interested in history and the Edo Kingdom was because I read his play Obaseki, and I was a part of it. So thank you again for joining me.
Thank you. Thank you.
How's the family? How's everything? How are you doing?
Well, I'm trying to be okay in a very dysfunctional Nigeria.
I can imagine.
very seriously challenged Nigeria.
So the reason I wanted to, let me just go straight to the point. The reason I wanted to talk to you was because of a video that I posted. I think it was on Thursday. And it was a video of someone being interviewed, the cultural secretary of the Secretary of Culture in Britain. And they were asking him about what or when they were planning to return the stolen artifacts, the bronze artifacts that they stole from the Benin Kingdom, and you know what was going to happen. And the man responded and used words like they were the bronzes were acquired. He didn't say stolen. He also said something like, we are willing to share the, the bronzes in our museum, you know, that they are doing better there in their museum. And then he said something about them not willing to return it. So the comments is why I wanted to talk to you, because some were like, they should bring it back. And some were like, if they bring it back, we don't have what it takes to keep these things. So I said, okay, they should understand the history first. So I want you to take us back to what happened. Was there really a stealing? Or so give us an insight. Yeah.
Let me say something quickly. Number one, the victors in a war always write history to suit their own narrative. That is a given. It is not something else. Number two, the great-grandmother of Queen Elizabeth, the mother of George the Fifth and George the Sixth, who is the father of Elizabeth II, was Queen Victoria. And her official title was Her Majesty Queen Victoria, Queen of England, and Empress of India. Now, why am I saying that? The 19th century, at the end of 18 something or whatever, the British actually saw themselves as the disperser of civilization to the entire world. The United States of America today, in the fight by George Washington and the likes of Benjamin Franklin, the man in the $100 bill,
yeah,
was to extricate the lands of which we call the United States today, which were jointly owned by the Dutch. New York used to be New Amsterdam. The Spanish, the French. That is why you find French names like Laurent. That is why you find a lot of the entire parts of Massachusetts, New York, Connecticut was known as New England. And they took them away and built their own narrative. Today, they will not take an artifact that belonged to the peoples, whether indigenous Americans or those who became settlers, and say that they were not stolen, that they were acquired. Number two, this is very key. In the year 1897, February to be precise, the British carried out a punitive expedition. That is the same way Russia has just carried out a punitive expedition or an invasion of the independent kingdom of Benin. That was the last vestige of the colonial masters in Nigeria, exactly 36 years after they have declared a colony in Lagos. Lagos was a perpetually owned colony signed off by Oba Dosumu and Oba Akitoye that in 1861, Lagos is a permanently, perpetually owned property of the British Crown. In 1897, 36 years later, that was when Benin fell. Benin never fell to any foreign body. Any foreign African or non-African body has successfully invaded Benin since Benin was founded, since the time of the Ogisos. So what am I saying? It was they named it a punitive expedition to punish the people led by Admiral Rathmore. They came with 7 ships, gun ships. They were already ruling in Calabar. Calabar then was the capital of the colony of southern Nigeria. They call it to protect the people from themselves. So they call it a protectorate. So, but as at that time, nobody in Benin was under the British. Benin Empire was still a that is his history.
Yeah.
Now, when they did that, they banished our Oba. Our Oba was the last banished king. Those who were with them at the beginning, who even tried to trade with them at the beginning. I'm talking about Nana of Shekiri, Nana Olomo of Ibrahim in Shekiri. In 1888, the man saw that what he had signed was to sign away his people, and he revolted. And what did they do? They banished him, and he died in exile. They did the same thing to King Jaja of Opobo, who was also banished. Some of them were taken as far away as Brazil. They also did it to King Pepe of Boni. And after all that, 36 years after the capitulation of Lagos and the creation and declaration of the colony of Lagos as a separate country, Nigerians don't know that until 1906, the capital, they were ruling the protectorate of northern and southern Nigeria from Sierra Leone. Nigerians don't know that in all this one, the only last vestige of freedom in the colony that we now call, in the territories we know today as Nigeria, was the Benin Empire. And when that fell in February 1897, that was when they carried out their punitive. It was a war. That is why you see in Benin, one of the most popular places in Benin is Sopomba or Sakomba. Sakomba in direct translation is called Sopomba or Sopomba, meaning nobody, no foreigner will enter into Benin through this place except the Oba. So when that was fought, to pay for that expedition, it was budgeted for. Rathmore, the man who led that expedition, later died in punitive penury. That is a fact. And when they came into Benin, you have seen the pictures. They carted together all the bronzes, because in Benin, we have guilds. Guilds, just as you have guilds of actors, guilds of editors, guilds of singers. They were guilds that were attached to the Oba Palace. In Igun Street in Benin is a gilded area where only those who manufacture artworks for the Oba, because the artworks were owned by the Oba. In Benin, my name, if you want to say man in Benin, you say Okpioba. That is Oba's male. So everything that is owned in Benin belongs to the Oba, including the land. So we say Oba Nyato. That is, the Oba owns every land, even if now you buy them. In Benin, the Oba is not a human being as far as we are concerned. And we are not ashamed of that. In Benin, the Oba is we say Oba no sanowo dwa fiakpa muna, meaning he that God has transfigured himself into to rule amongst men. We say Oba Nosa. Osa is God. Oba is Oba. Oba Nosa. Direct translation. The Oba who is God. We say Oba Adesagbon. The Oba is the epicenter, the equator of the world. So everything that was stolen in 1897 by the Moradin men of Rathmore, of resident James Watt, of Amory Talbot, were all owned by the Benin people and their collective commonwealth and patrimony. Now let's go back a little bit. I saw that video and I laughed at the man who said they don't have how to keep the artifacts. I just laughed. Okay. Now, Queen Idia, where you yourself was a major, you played Idia, you played Azagidi, Igbaro, and you played Orimiame, which are all human living legends in our female pantheon in Benin. You, Stella, you've played all the roles.
Yeah.
So now you understood the descriptions that the Benin give to these monumental people. We must understand that the Queen Idia head is carbon dated to 1440. And in our own historical analogy, it must have been carved in 1561. Now let's do the arithmetic. 1561, 1661, 100 years. 1761, 200 years. 1861, 300 years. And that thing was stolen from Benin in 1897. So those things were already kept by the native peoples for 330 years. Now, you both teach us how to keep them.
Lie.
How can you be keeping things you did not create? How can you be legislating how these things, are they the ones that kept the pyramids of Egypt?
Lie.
Were the pyramids of Egypt not there 1,000 years before the birth of Christ? The pyramids of Giza in carbon dating dates back 1,000 years before the birth of Christ. We must realize that Queen Cleopatra was the queen who had an amorous relationship with Julius Caesar. And Julius Caesar died in 46 BC, 46 years before they born Jesus. So if the black people of the Nubian deserts, who we now call the Egyptians and their pharaohs, could build the pyramids of Giza, how did the Beninese build the 123-mile moat, the inner moat, the center moat, the second moat around Benin by moving major earthwork without a tractor? In the times of Obaewa, in the times of Obaorogboa, that is 400 years ago. Now, you both do one for us. You see, the conqueror always dictates the narrative. But thank God for social media. Thank God. You see, that man, when he was talking, I laughed. When I was writing Idia, myself and my very good friend, Uche Macaulay, and Ike Modi, when I was writing that play in the year 2000, I had traveled to the UK and I walked around the Royal Museum and I saw this thing curated there and kept away, stopping me, whose ancestors did that bronze head, not to even get close to it. So it is the value that is perceived and the value that the white man had placed on it, which is a defense of their selfishness. That is what has resulted in their being reluctant. However, because of the passage of time, I was also in the Erediawa Centenary Committee of 1997. And as a result, my troop, we were taken around the world. We took Obaseki around the world under sponsorship from the Danish Shell. And as at that time, the Benin Centenary Committee, headed by Prince Edwin Akenzwa, the younger brother of the late Oba Erediawa, father of our present king, went around the world trying to sensitize people on the fact that these artifacts were stolen from their original abode. If it was in more modern times, we would call them war crimes.
Yes. Now,
people attacked the gardens of Nineveh and in the areas of Iraq, where it is supposed to be the Garden of Eden, between the river Euphrates and river Tigris. And we call them ISIS. They burnt up some of the artifacts of Nebuchadnezzar. And the United Nations and UNESCO declared it a war crime. Not only declaring it a war crime, they declared it a war crime and asked that those persons, to the extent that the United States had to take out bombs to eliminate those people who did that. It also happened in Afghanistan. Now, retrospectively, that is the same punishment that should be given to the descendants of Queen Victoria and her descendants forefront. She was the emperor of India and the emperor of all the lands. You see, people don't understand that at once upon a time, that small island of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, which then it was the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland, before the Irish people broke away in 1921, have had the ignominy of colonizing 1/3 of the surface of planet Earth. Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and all the English-speaking areas of the Caribbean, Jamaica, Barbados, St. Lucia, St. Kitts and Nevis, Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, the Republic of South Africa, spreading their colonial. That was why that woman was angry that she will not celebrate the death of Queen Elizabeth.
Yeah, I saw it.
See, now we have to understand that times have moved on. I was interviewed by the BBC Scotland that was middle of last year, when some individuals decided to return these artifacts. Also, all the artifacts that were bought by Germans in the year 95, 96, myself and my ex-partner then, we had a company, Pichiwa International, Chichi Okal. We were into a collaboration with a woman called Dr. Adama Orish and a man called Turoflip. That was when I was doing the documentaries to open up Oshun Oshobo. The University of Bayreuth, I was consulting for them then, decided to start a campaign for the return of all these artifacts, making them know that blood was lost in the acquisition. To use that man's word, they were acquired by killing people. So if you have a Benin bronze work, or you have a Benin ivory tusk, or you have a Benin artwork, whether it's bronze, brass, wood carving, or ivory tusk, these are people who were excellent enough to know how to carve on elephant ivory.
Yeah.
You get my point? Because elephants used to walk the areas of Benin. That is why in Ikpobahi today, the real name of Ikpobahi, we just say Ikpobahi, is Oreogbeni. Eni is elephant. Ore means settlement. Ogbeni means killers of elephants. So Oreogbeni or Ikpobahi, the way you take to the east, was the settlement of elephant hunters, of which the last elephant hunter I knew myself was the father of Felix Liberty. He was killed by an elephant in 1975. I was a young boy. I wasn't a kid. I was by entry secondary school. So what I'm saying is, these people were expert enough to create the work, and they were able to curate the work, and they kept the work for 340 plus years before the white man came. There is this other bronze work where you have a white man holding a gun. That was in celebration of the invasion of the kingdom of Ida by the Edos in those days. And that thing in history is 1560. That was when a man called Afonso da Vieiro or Patigo Patiedo, Portuguese people, came to Benin and named it La Citadad do Benin, the city of Benin. And it was in recognition of that they gave the Beninese guns, which they used in terrorizing all the neighbors and made them for. So that thing was carved then, 300 years before they were stolen. So if the Beninese could keep them 300 years and the British have stolen them for 120, who has the greater capacity to keep? And why are you bothered about our own work? Benin man said, when you come to my house and you break a break. I think I mean Nigerian says, if you come my house, you breaking plate when I not savvy, you take the breaking plate, you break them, you go pay.
You go pay.
For Benin, they call them bust and pay.
Bust and pay. That's all.
But if I break them myself, what do you mean? Now that day is supposed break.
Thank you. Let me get them.
And I me get them. So no one tell us when the Benin say now so we supposed to keep our artwork. Why are you keeping what is not yours? That which we stole by subterfuge. Moreover, in preparing for this, sometime in 2019, the Edo State government was able to, as well as the Federal Ministry of Culture, as well as the Palace of the Oba of Benin, informed all of us that a group, actually a subnational group in Germany, had agreed to release to return all the ones that were in Germany. Mind you, Germans did not invade Benin. But the Germans, the British stole from us and sold the stolen properties to the Germans. So the Germans now felt, hey, hold on a minute. These things were stolen. And people died. People were killed. People were massacred in a punitive expedition for the British to... Now the British are smart enough not to hold on to all of it and started selling them. And they decided to return them. Almost 1,300 pieces of Benin bronze work. And the list of them is costing close to 50 to 100,000 euro. Some of them as much as $1.23 million. That is the valuation. So the Oba Palace, I am aware, if you are on the Adesobe Road, not too far, just almost opposite the Oba Palace, the Oba of Benin had actually created a space for the building of a modern museum to be known as the Benin Royal Museum. Also, the Edo State government had taken areas around the old Central Hospital, right in the city center, to create what they call a MOA, which is the Edo Museum of West African Art. Their building is an ultra-modern center. So I am wondering who informed the very uninformed British gentleman with his quaint English. I was ashamed of him speaking English like someone who didn't go to school. You know, so I understand that, you see, when you watch Game of Thrones or you watch this other one, Outpost, there's one they call the Outpost. You see, there is a magical religious connotation to some of these things. You cannot say an artwork that has lasted hundreds of years has no spiritual connotation. So you are there now hiding the spirit beings of other people's heritage. Something will happen to them soon. They go, no. Make them go read history. They will find out that all those who invaded Benin, they died ignominiously. I'm not saying, type Admiral Ralph Moore. And you will see how he, in spite of all his conquest in this, went to India, conquered in wars in South Africa. His last war was the war he fought in Benin. And he died uncelebrated. Let me use the words of Olaro Timi. He died and was buried by vultures who don't know him, and was not mourned by men who knew him. He said he never was mourned by men who knew him, and he was buried by vultures who knew him not. And that is the same thing. It's just like me deciding to steal the works of William Shakespeare, because Shakespeare lived at about the same time many of those bronze works were made. So these are key, and I'm not even bothered. I just sit sometimes and I say, well, time is the harbinger of fortune. One day, all the chicks will come home to roost. And it is opening up every day. The British community is opening up more and more. People are understanding that when they buy diamonds from the mines of Liberia, they are buying it, they are blood diamonds. When they are buying diamonds or buying bauxite from the war-torn areas of Congo, these are blood-stained diamonds. Yes. So you are actually, why are you fighting? I mean, it's so much hypocrisy. You are fighting to protect animals in some dogs. You are protecting dogs, and I have my own dogs though, you know, but you are not willing to protect the lives and properties of persons whom you stole from. The late MKO Abiola launched a crusade in the late 80s. And that crusade in the late 80s was known as reparation. So there must be a deliberate attempt, not only by our governments and their subnational representatives like the states and others like the palaces, the traditional institutions. Today, our diaspora community has become an essential contributor to the upward mobility of the communities or nations that they are now. So Nigerians, people of Nigerian extraction, who are in the UK. Some of them are now ministers. A Ghanaian now is the Chancellor of the Exchequer, which is basically the second most powerful position in the United Kingdom. A Pakistani Indian person is the mayor of London. An Indian-born Jamaican fathered woman is the vice president of the United States of America. The immediate past president, the father was even never an American. The father of Barack Obama never was an American. He was born a Kenyan, he died a Kenyan. So they should understand that the narrative is changing. And time has come for our diaspora community to come together in a cybernetic handshake. It's not only Benin. The only problem is that Benin is the most raped. But there are artifacts from Nok culture. There are artifacts from Ife. There are artifacts from Inri, in Inri and the Long Juju of Arochukwu in Abia. There are artifacts even from the Kanu Doba that we are taken away by force. They should be returned. Not be my own, not be your own, not my own.
Right.
To the Igbo, I say, yes, give me my own, make I hold. Hold your own.
Yeah.
Don't legislate over how I will handle my own affair, so long as I am not doing it to disturb other people.
Yeah. Look. So, you've said a lot right now, and I'm feeling two things. First of all, I'm excited to be African. You have a way of making people appreciate who they are as a people and where they're coming from. On the other side,
I speak Benin for Times Square.
I know, and not be you. Again, I'm embarrassed because I always say, "Oh, I think I'm somewhat intelligent, small. You know, I know books, but they read well, but half of what you have just said today, I had no idea. I did not know. And this is me, who has a podcast called Excuse My African. I try to do research to talk about these things. And I still don't know I don't even know a quarter of what you have said. And I started thinking back to my education in Nigeria, to, you know, my growing up, trying to remember social studies and knowing that we didn't even do any history in secondary school. So the worst thing, the best thing that I had was the social studies. And it is sad that when people come and comment about these things, they comment based on how they're feeling at that time. But it's sad that we don't have the curriculum in our own home to teach us these things, to tell us, you know, all these dates, I are calling all these names. I'm like, shoo, Stella, you don't know nothing. And these things are very important. So I'm like, if people in Nigeria, in Africa, don't know half of their own history, those of us that are here, people who are raising kids here, that's a great disservice, that's a great danger. So what do you suggest we do? Talk about? Who do we talk to? What do we do generally? Because our kids need to learn these things, even us.
Yes. The fact that history was stopped in our history was a tangential part of curriculum when I was growing up. Tangential. But in the times of General Obasanjo and later other, they stopped history. And a few of us have taken it upon ourselves to fight for it to be returned. Last year, it was returned to the curriculum. Now, you cannot become a citizen, a naturalized citizen of the United States of America, if they don't take you through the entire, no matter how skewed that history is, of the first people in the Americas. Yes. They will tell you first. Like I was telling somebody, let me give you one example. So you once lived in New York.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest parts of New York, within the borough of the Queens, is an area called Jamaica.
Yeah.
Jamaica, people in Queens, people in the United States think that Queens, Jamaica is related to the island of Jamaica. In the in the Caribbeans. That is not correct. Because what you actually have is what a woman calls a disambiguation. That area was actually taken from the name of the old people that used to live in that area. And I think they were called something like Yamaka.
Mm.
So when the Dutch who first took over the area we now call New York, it was first called then New Amsterdam. That's why you have Harlem.
Yeah.
Harlem is a large part of Amsterdam in the Netherlands. But so when the British took over, they changed it to New York.
Mm.
That area, in the native language of the original peoples who were there, they were called the Arawaks. The Arawaks of the old American Indians called that area the land of wood and water, and they pronounced it something like Jamaica, Xaymaka, That X was changed to J by the British to sound Jamaica. Now, do you know why I mentioned that? I mentioned that because many of our people, they think to be Nigerian, particularly those of Edo and Delta. Not every Nigerian has that mental blockade, particularly the minority areas of southern Nigeria. They are so ashamed of their historiography. There is a saying in Benin, he that cannot speak his language is a being lost. Now, when we were in primary school, when you speak Benin, they will beat you for speaking what they call vernacular. Meanwhile, as executive consultant, I was executive consultant for almost 8 years to Fashola. Fashola was my roommate. We entered the meeting and everybody is speaking Yoruba in Lagos, in executive council meeting. Now, if you look at all the governors, just pause a minute. If you are looking at the Igbo-speaking areas, they don't try small on their own. You will hear Okezie Ikpeazu. His real name is Victor, but he hardly answered it. You will hear Chimaroke Nnamani. You will hear a lot of them. If you go to the West, almost every Peter Fayoshe never answers Peter Fayoshe. He answers Ayo Fayoshe. You will hear Sonwolu, Raji Babatunde Fashola, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Abubakar Atiku. All of them are answering their native names or names peculiar to their. When it comes to Edo, Akwa Ibom, the minority parts of the South, some don't even have their surname. Use it. Udom Emmanuel. It is his father's name that is Emmanuel. Yeah. He is Udom in Godwin Obaseki, Pedro Obaseki, Ato Okowa, James Ibori, Lucky Igbinedion, John Oyegun. We are ashamed to answer our real native names. And that has spilled over to now have a threatening effect where once great traditions, people want to dress like Benin. They want to marry. Everybody from Edo and Delta will go dress like Benin Queen. They want to marry. But if you say make them speak the language, they don't want to speak even if they hear. In those days when I was growing up in Warri, we walked to Igbo market, or we go outside, I want to go buy something. You will speak Urobo to the woman selling. Another woman who doesn't even speak English. He said, Amingoma, only bro, this one how much? Because this one, she will reply you in pidgin. That is, she will be too ashamed to speak Urobo or speak Benin. Like your place now, they will now. You're in areas of Asaba, Opanam, and all those areas. People no longer speak Enuani.
Yeah.
They would rather speak English or speak Igbo that is not their own real language. They will say Ogbuefi, while their own language says Ogbueshi or Tokpuponikenu. They won't say it. They would rather speak as if they are core Igbos from Arochukwu or Nimo or Abatete or Joto. That is a problem. It is a mental asphyxiation, a mental suffocation that you need to break away from. You cannot love the face of the culture and you abandon the nitty-gritty of that culture. Shoyinka once said it that it's like the Ghanaian bird, Chichidodo. Chichidodo hates shit, but it only eats the maggot from shit. It's crazy. So I look at myself, anywhere I go, whether they kill me, they don't want to kill me, I carry my beneath for it. Even my cufflink self now beneath bead.
So.
You know, I know the shame. I know the shame for him because I am the reason that I am because of my Edonis. So I would rather sacrifice even my Nigerianness so as to pursue and elevate my Edonis, because that is who and what the Lord of hosts said I am. Every other thing is an artificial boundary, an artificial creation that is meant. When your children don't speak Benin, or they don't speak Esan, they don't speak Urobo, they don't speak Esak or Kwale, you are a walking corpse. Because no matter how much you try, you can never, ever, even if you live to become, you don't see what happened to Ricky Sunak. The guy that has been changing the United States economy, the United Kingdom economy. All of a sudden now they made him get to the door of becoming prime minister. And all of a sudden, Liz Truss, a woman who for the last 12, 15 years have been neither here nor there, but she's an iron, she's white. And they remember that no matter, they've been fair to them. I don't blame them, because I will be frank with you, Nigerians are worse than the British. Nigerians are worse than the American. I give birth to a child in America today, is American that same day. My daughter Eki was born in the same hospital that Donald Trump was born, at Jamaica Hospital, Queens, New York. But Eki is American. But will me, who was maybe born in Uroboland or have been contributing to the economy of Lagos, where I helped build a full industry, am I allowed to run for councillor seat in Lagos? Will you allow a man from Irologbo or from whatever, who is born in Owerri, to run to be the mayor or local government chairman of Owerri? The answer is no.
No.
So when the Nigerian says, Umu Obodai, he's not talking about Nigeria. He's talking about those from his village.
From his place.
That is it. So unless we embrace our nativity and celebrate it, and bring out those things that elevate us, of which language is key. Language opens doors. I get to the airport in France, and I don't want to be disturbed by all these French people. I start speaking French. C'est ça va très bien. Oh, ça va. That is it, I pass. Because language opens doors. If I get to the north and only meeting with Hausa people, I will switch to Hausa. When I'm in Igbo land, I will speak Igbo. And you don't speak Benin, how can you come? If Nigeria is scattered tomorrow, how you will take pass of Fosu when I know say you don't speak my language, and you say you be Benin, or you be Urobo, or you be Isoko, or you be Opanam, you know they speak the language. The language is your first line identifier.
Identity, yeah.
Yes, every other thing is it. I was teaching in New York a long time ago, and I was teaching the kids that one day, this was in 1999, 2000. And I was telling the kids, stop speaking that. And he said, no, this is how it be. I said, no, that's wrong. This is how I am. You cannot get to the White House. You can't by speak. And the boy replied, ain't no space for no black MF in the White House. Because that is why it's called the White House. It's for white people. But luckily, Obama has changed that narrative.
Yep.
So unless there is a coming together of the marginalized committee of nations, the indigenous peoples of our sphere, to protect their own, it's not even enough to be, you are screaming in Germany that they should return our artifacts, and you don't allow your people to speak Benin. You don't allow, even in those abroad is even okay. In Benin, it's so endemic. It's crazy. When I was growing up, they forced us to speak Benin. They forced us to read. We almost read ABC, ABD, AFG, Ikele, Mini, O.
I can read Edo, but I can't read Igbo.
Okay, no, yours is different. I won't blame you. You grew up in Benin, so
yes.
you right? You are more or less a Bini girl. Are you getting from with an Igbo ancestry? That is how it is. I am married to an Igbo woman. I'm proudly, so I tell people, say, I'm Benin, but my children straddle the value chain. And I forced my wife to teach them Igbo. And they speak Benin. So that if we are boss for Benin, we go that side. If we are boss for that side, we come this side. If it's too much, we carry them from plane. We go America.
Straight.
So it is a, I don't know, it's triple redundancy. That is, it's a protection layer. And those at home are the biggest culprit. Meanwhile, you are in Lagos, they force everybody to speak it. Now, as we are speaking, somebody you wrote there has been an Igbo man in Lagos State. No, House of Assembly, that is not even correct. An Urobo man in 2015 who represented a Jeremy Felodu federal constituency in the National Assembly. And an Igbo man represented Amuwo Odofin in the National Assembly. That shows that maybe Nigeria has, but what I'm saying is in our native, Lagos is not Nigeria. Lagos is different. If you just leave Lagos State and drive to Ibafo, which is just less than 10 kilometers or 15 kilometers from Bega, you will see what I'm talking about.
Right.
There must be a way we can elevate our Nigerianness, first of all, by elevating our nativity and not be ashamed of it. In Benin, they a few years ago, they almost stopped celebrating Igwe, thinking it is Juju. And I said, Jesus Christ.
Really? Igwe Festival?
Yes. Yes. I had to make a presentation to my Oba Ejawa then on the fact that the Benin Igwe Festival is exactly like the Dionysian Festival of the Greeks. And it is the oldest, longest serving, functional, non-stop festival in the world outside of Christmas. Christmas is the only one we can remember that has been on for. They did not even start Christmas during the time of Jesus Christ. It was started after the time of Emperor Constantine. And that was more than 200 years after the death of Christ. And the Benin one was about 300 years later, during the time of Obaewa the First. He used the same name with this one. And it was just a celebration of fertility. And I sang the song we sing. And the song we sing is a vulgar song celebrating a female that's
anatomy things, yes.
Yes, thank you. It's a description of the female anatomy. And here where we take away go give up for bedroom. Where see your sister ukodo where porridge. We can't do we can't knock our private part. There's porridge. The woman's porridge is between her laps. That is the song of the festival. Where did you do for that? And it was a festival of fertility and festivity.
Yeah. And
they almost stopped it. You hear my point? So now we are rather do artificial festival where people wear color riots in Calabar because it sounds like what is done in the Cari looks Brazilian. Not knowing that even the Brazilian festival takes its root from the worship of Orisha, which they spell Oricha, or Lukumi, which is Olukumi, taken from the festivity of the worship of Papa Shango. So, and it's crazy. If the people of Brazil, if the people of Santa Monica, if the people of Cuba, the most worshipped God in Cuba is not Jesus. It is Orisha. Even Fidel Castro praise to Santa Orisha, Saint Orisha. Yemoya, Yemoja. Those they are in the center square in Havana.
Yeah.
So I now ask myself, what's wrong with us? If you go to the native areas of Missouri, in America, or the areas of where you have this hurricane, Missouri, Mississippi, and I'm trying to remember now, and you will see where they still worship today, the nativity of Yorubas around the Jackson area in the United States of America.
Even New Orleans, yeah.
I mean, Louisiana.
Louisiana.
In Louisiana.
Yeah.
Yeah, go New Orleans. Go to New Orleans. And you will see people still dressed. I remember my friend, when I was teaching in the States in the 1990s, I had a friend who was a superstar. His name was Peach in Arrested Development.
Yes.
He was from Tennessee. I still remember that his song, Tennessee, Lord, I've really been distressed. I'm down and out and I'm losing ground. Although I am black and proud, problems got me pessimist. You know, he said, I asked him to take me to another place and he took me down to Tennessee. Take me to another place, take me to another land. Yeah, yeah. Tell me other hearts, me tell me, you know. So, and he's praying, he said he wants to talk about the trees where my forefathers hung from. I want those trees to show me all their wisdom. So today we have abandoned those wisdom. We have abandoned the chains and stuff that was used to educate us. We have abandoned the words of Bob Marley. You know, he was a philosopher king, singing and letting us know that they school us in their miseducation, you know, and make us think that meanwhile, it is the American that is today was built by the Buffalo Soldier, taken from Africa and brought to America. Buffalo Soldier, you know, landing up, you know, fighting on arrival, and he fought for survival. But if you know your history and and when you know where you're coming from, you shouldn't bother to ask me, who the hell do you think I am? I know who I am, but do all our brothers know who they are? I didn't go to America to start scavenging. I stand for airport, so you go wait for me.
Come on now.
No, not true now.
Yeah. Not so.
I mean, I don't know if I could be your guest like this today. So
I'm loving it.
Yeah, thanks, love. Okay, you get plenty followers. Oh, Jesus.
I want me to hear.
1 million. Whoa, jeez. If you overthrow government, oh. 1 million.
If it was
if
that
I get
easy.
1 million followers, I go arrest Buhari. Oh.
If it was that easy,
I didn't know. I'm just checking it now. Oh, whoa. ST.
Don't be.
I get with this though.
Don't be. We need to. I need you. I need you for a lot of things. I need you for a lot of things. I need you.
1 million.
Don't believe me.
No, on a serious note, you have more people than everybody when they live for Liberia. Whoa.
Don't be. I need you, Sha.
What did I do now? I do.
I need you.
Hey, the pity say she not follow us for today.
No, she must join the next one.
Hey.
Don't be.
Sorry, I'm not watching my wife.
My wife. I need you. We have to talk about a way
1 million
to discuss. You're still talking about this thing.
No, I'm shocked. I didn't know. I'm very sorry.
That's right. We need to find a way to educate people on social media. I think that when people say, all these things, then they're online, then they go and Google it. The first thing is, a lot of people don't know exactly what to search for.
Right.
And not everybody has that luxury of, let me go to Google. Social media has made it so interactive and relatable that it's easier to discuss things like this. I'm seeing a lot of comments here from people who are like, oh gosh, I didn't know this. Oh, I want to go and learn a language now, you know, stuff like that. So I'm going to need you. I'm going to stress you out a lot, even if you give me 1 day in a month, so that we can come and talk about maybe one aspect of something. Okay. Or even if it's not for me, even if it's on your page, we'll beg you. So once in a while, just drop one small history, one small fact.
For Instagram, people know they follow me. The one I had before.
We go drag them follow you.
They went and started trying to hack it. So I had to start all over a few months ago.
Don't be. We go drag them to follow you, because I feel like, and those of you who are watching right now, follow him right now. Don't be waiting your handle. Is it Don dot?
No. It's Pedro Obaseki at Pedro.Obaseki.
Pedro.Obaseki.
Yes, I think. Oh, I don't to know. You know, It's Pedro
Obaseki. Make a right hand here.
Like on Instagram, Abi?
Yeah.
Yeah, Pedro Obaseki.
Those of you who are watching.
Now, me and my mama be the profile picture. My mama don't die almost 10 years ago. I see the whole the woman. Because if not be the woman, I'll be zero.
Exactly, but not true now.
Pin.
I've pinned his handle. Those of you who are watching right now, go and follow his page and ask questions. And whenever he can, he's going to come and talk about these things. Okay. Dumpy, then we have to get your plays out there again, especially Obaseki. People have to buy, people have to read it. And by hook or by crook, I don't care how long it takes me, I am bringing Obaseki back to America. I am bringing Idia back to America. I am bringing When God's Dying to America. I have to. I have to.
Not too much also. I didn't look for money while I take pay school fees.
With all of us. But at the end of the day, this is what we need, because there's a lot of ignorance out there. Even us, we the ignorant, we can't expect, say, foreigners go understand us, pass us, when we don't even know. So I'm very grateful.
Thank you.
We want to see Obaseki in America for sure. We're going to make it happen. I'm going to push with my last blood. I'm going to push. Yeah. Oh yeah, start following Dumpy right now. I want to see the numbers.
They're following me too.
They're following.
People don't join me now. Hey, wait.
Okay.
I don't blow. I don't blow. Dumpy don't blow.
Start following him now. Follow him now, because
no,
these are the kind of people.
They're people following me now.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Pedro.Obaseki. Follow him now. Follow him now, because when you're looking for people to follow on Instagram, it's not always glam and laugh and not. Sometimes we need people who can help us, who can make us understand our history.
Can I say something quickly? Yeah, you see, the reason why many people, I asked my daughter, my second daughter, she's into this thing a lot. The first one is so much into her cyber security, aeronautic engineering, but the younger one, although she's in biomedicine, she's on Instagram, like, and what's the other one? TikTok, like, just. And I said, Daddy, I'm doing what people want to see. People are angry. And I sat down, I thought about it. You see, sometimes people want to laugh because they don't want to cry.
Yeah.
So the social media, Instagram, becomes an instantaneous escape from the mental prison that the society doesn't even listen to people anymore. People are only interested in seeing who died. So people are interested in who is burnt, who is kidnapped. People are only interested in all the negative. Who
has a big bomb?
Who has big figure,
buying car.
When I was growing up, for me to toast a woman, we will first carry a book. We will go cram the book, Then we will carry all the songs. Lionel Richie, Luther Vandross. I used to think that love was just, we'll call it sing them. Now they just need to shout, "It's your waist, your waist. All I want is your waist."
It's your waist. That's it.
I don't, and it's crazy. But I think I think it is symptomatic of the society they find themselves. If they find alternatives, like I was telling some of them, P-Square was a superstar, or were superstars. Same thing with Two-Face and Co. They don't sing about vain banalities. My daughter won the national mathematics competition about 6 years ago, and they gave her 100,000 naira. And somebody goes on, I don't blame them though, on Big Brother, shows nakedness and all the stuff, and gets 50 million. So you now begin to wonder, what is the valuation? It is the valuation of the nation that is pushing people there. I grew up when there was no Facebook. So that time I faced my book.
Yeah.
You get my, now Facebook, nobody wants to face their book. People are on WhatsApp. They don't know what's up. That is where the problem is at.
When my kids started growing older, and we're talking about social media, because they were on social media, but they didn't post anything. Nobody knew who they were until I was ready for their faces to be seen. the first thing I said to them was, when you get into this thing, there's a tendency that you get hooked on it because that's the world we live in now. But the thing is, don't forget that when you get a quick fix, when that thing expires, you will still face reality.
Yep.
So if you don't have values, if you don't know who you are, if you don't have your identity, if you don't have a proper education, all these quick fixes, that's why it's called quick.
Yes.
Is temporary, and it doesn't take you anywhere. That's why a lot of us here in the diaspora were struggling with identity. Most of us, we are here, we don't know how we sound. We don't know whether to speak Fone. We cannot speak our language properly. You know, we speak English and we start to feel funny. Like, the way I'm sounding, I'm the only one sounding different here. So let me go and take breakfast with everybody, you know?
Okay, let me give you one. When I was teaching a BBC class some years ago, they told me to come and teach how to create African sounds, African sounding people to report the news from Africa. If you watch Al Jazeera, one of their most popular Al Jazeera presenters is in Pakistan. You get my point? The Al Jazeera Pakistan correspondent, he speaks as a Pakistani with all the problems of the donations, and they don't fight. That I think his name is Imran Khan.
Yes, yeah, Imran, yes.
You get my point? Now here I am in Nigeria. People are speaking English in pronunciations that this queen doesn't use. When we are teaching phonology in school, we teach with what we call ROP, receive pronunciation. Now, if you speak receive pronunciation in the streets of East London, they won't understand you. So if you hear the queen speaking, the queen does not speak phone. She speaks distinct, universal English. Same thing with the first American president that I heard speaking with an accent or a tonation is Obama, and then this Moralago Rascal, Donald Trump. You get my point?
Yeah.
Now, I don't have to speak phone. And why are people okay? Have you heard the interview of Bob Marley? Sorry, I came to Bob Marley.
Yes.
All the interviews of Bob Marley is patois. And they ask him, why are you speaking patois, yet you don't sing in patois? He said, I sing for the whole world. But when I'm talking, he wants people to know how a Jamaican sounds.
Yeah.
So, which means the man can speak. If the man that wrote those lines, the belly full, but we hungry. An angry man, a hungry man. He knows how to speak English properly. But go to any of his interviews. He's just, I'm an. So, because that is the nativity he knows. Unless we speak like Nigerians. If you notice, when you are doing film and you are watching big Oyibo film, they are only looking for Africans who will talk like Africans, not Africans who speak like Denzel Washington.
Like them, yeah.
They don't see Denzel as an African.
Yeah.
He is a descendant of 500 years of blacks living in the United States. 500 years, you are American, you are not African. But the African American, the Nigerian American, the Nigerian British doesn't want to sound anything Nigerian. Meanwhile, when he's watching Game of Thrones, when he's watching Outpost, or when he's watching any of the, what's that one? That one that they cast them for Inside Ireland. They want you to sound as original as. That is the truth, because that is actually the caveat. That is the trick. That is the sweetness. That is the paparazzo when you bring come the whole table.
Right.
You ain't going to speak English better than Queen. So why are you trying to? But speak it in a way that they will understand.
Yes.
That so if I'm teaching people, I'm talking to them because I know I'm not talking to Nigerians. I try, but you won't hear me speak gara gara wara wara. But that doesn't mean I can do that. I can do that too, girl.
You know,
but I don't do it because I ain't in it.
Yes.
I go, make I don't go boss my boy. I mean, maybe we leave matter for Matthias.
Wow. Thank you so much for
Thank
today.
you.
Like, you know, when
Thank
I
you.
posted that thing and I was seeing comments, I was tempted to respond. But in my head, I'm like, that would be very careless of me to respond to some people because there are some things I don't know. There's some facts and history that I don't have access to right now. So before I start talking, you know, let me talk to someone I know who can answer all these questions and who understands so that everybody is clear on what's going on. So I want to thank you, Don, because I know you are busy today, but I had to harass you. I had to harass you to do this.
No.
They say whether we should say we're not going to pay this man for the IG live, so
Who you want to pay? Whether you not going to pay me?
yes, now that they talk.
May I tell them? Stella at the beginning. Stella is my daughter in terms of this thing we are today. When I saw Stella as a kid, in my head, I did not see Stella. I saw an Oinyame, that is a queen of the water. She that is birthed by, you know, an artistic Helen of Troy, an artistic Mona Lisa, an artistic Madonna. And ever since, I actually even fought the elder sisters to make sure Stella was on set. Stella started with me at age less than 16.
Yep.
And I am proud to say that even seeing Stella try is enough payment for me. I told someone once, he said, Pedro, they want to call me. I said, who wants to call me? He said, a person running for deputy governor of Lagos. I smiled. He said, Funke. I said, Funke is my daughter. And I'm happy that at once upon a time, one of the closest human animals to me on planet Earth, not bettered by my mother, became a prima donna. Maybe one of the best. They were like the I3s then. Stella, Genevieve, and the other one. What's your name?
Omotola.
Omotola. You were the tripod upon which the Nigerian the Nigerian Nollywood film industry was built, and I'm happy that in counting that, I almost forced Stella when in first boyfriend toaster. I lock up the boy. Not true now. So if we are here today, I'm talking about 1996, 1995, 97.
Yes.
So we are talking now, 1916. Whoa, 28 years later.
Yes.
Stella can't pay me. She's an integral part of my artistic DNA.
Thank you.
She's family.
Thank you so much, Dumpy. I'm so grateful. Thank you. I appreciate this. And I know we all appreciate this. We have a lot to talk about. I have a lot to learn. I have a lot more to think about because we owe it to the next generation. So I'm going to disturb you as per usual. I know how to disturb you. So thank you. We will do this again. So those of you that are here, I've told you, follow at pedro.obaseki. Ask any question that you need to ask, things that you need to know about our history, our culture. Send him a message. Okay, God bless you guys. Thank you again, Dumpy. I'll see you again very soon. All right,
yes, ma'am. I'm grateful.
Bye.